Welcome to Season 4 of the Retail Tea Break podcast. My name is Melissa Moore, the Retail Advisor, and each week I'll be joined by industry experts, retailers and product creators to decode the myths, share knowledge and give you an insight into the retail industry. So grab your cup of tea, sit back, relax and listen in to Season 4 of the Retail Tea Break podcast. Today, I'm joined by a guest who said she always knew that she had a great love for people and sales. A true people person, she's passionate about customers and their experiences in store and online. She became a household name during lockdown as the face of the company's marketing campaign that now has thousands of followers from over 50 countries. With the tagline, "Being independent never goes out of style," this retail brand really knows who they are. Sandra Devenney, General Manager of McElhinneys in Donegal, welcome to the Retail Tea Break podcast.
Good morning and thank you for having me. I'm delighted to be here with you.
I'm thrilled to have you on. And look, do you know what? I'm going to start off by absolutely saying and putting my cards on the table. I'm a huge fan of the store as a customer. I love popping in. There's such a warm welcome. And I'm not sure if that's just the Donegal thing or whether it's just that everyone that works there just is so happy and delighted to serve the customers. So thank you for that experience, first of all.
You're so welcome. I think it's a little bit of everything, to be honest, a little bit of everything that you said, a little bit of magic there for sure.
Oh, I love it. So let's crack on, because otherwise I'm going to gush about McElhinneys all morning, which isn't a bad thing. But in the age-old time that it takes to boil a kettle, which is about 2 minutes, yes. Tell us a little bit about you and the business.
Okay, well, obviously I am the general manager of McElhinneys. I started as a women's wear manager and was very quickly promoted through the company. The company is the founder is John McElhinney, who is still here today and works still the hardest worker. The business was founded in 1971 and the story's very famous. John started out the back of a Dodge van and went around door to door. And if you know John, you would be really questioning, gosh, how could this quiet, humble man do that job? But he did, and he did it very well. So his passion was for people and getting product into people's hands. And in rural Donegal, that was no big, that was a huge challenge. So, from where that has started to where we are today, I'm incredibly proud to be, leading that team and being such a big part of the story.
Oh, I love that. And it's incredible to still have John so kind of involved in the business as well, because he's created such an incredible retail store up there in Donegal. It's just beautiful.
And John will tell you himself, Melissa, he never planned it, never once did he ever go out of his way he never had a plan. And in those early days, he lived paycheck to paycheck, and his story is amazing and it's something that we're so proud of. And in fact, it's one of our values today for all our teammates. We're proud of our heritage, and that definitely is John's story. And, at the heart of that is people. And never forget where you've came from. And that's something that we're really, we feel really strongly at, never forget where we came from. Yes, we work incredibly hard to make our business, as well known and as we laugh and say we wanted to be world famous, but we never forget where we came from. We are literally just like everybody else, just working incredibly hard. And that's John, just to a T.
Oh, that's incredible. That's really lovely to hear. You became GM then of McElhinneys during COVID. And actually, you mentioned people so much there. You said your focus was to invest in the team and on staff development. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Mm-hmm. Well, as I say, I'm here now almost 10 years, but those early days I actually was recruited as a women's wear manager. And very quickly, I realized there's a lot of amazing people in McElhinneys. Huge retention, but I also realized that the business is growing. There's lots of more, there's lots of people at the back of house that maybe weren't getting they weren't shining, they weren't getting the opportunity to shine. So as I went through the ranks then, I was obviously able to tap into that, and I seen that, and it wasn't really until lockdown, it was just prior to lockdown, I had gone to John one day. I was a little bit lost myself, if I'm quite honest, about my own position in the company. And I said to John, what is it you want from me, because I'm someone, I like to have something to work towards. I'm very target driven, like to have something, so you're going out with a sense of achievement, and my team, so they have a tangible thing that they can work towards. And John turned around to me one day and said, I want you to future-proof McElhinneys. And that was all I needed. So I had this little burning idea in my head about a development program, McElhinneys. And because of where we were located, Melissa, we're not fools. We know that some of the skill set we have in here would, do so well in the cities. So we needed to make this a dynamic, engaging, forward-thinking, progressive company. So that was where I started, came out with the idea of the Accelerated Leadership Program. And then lockdown gave me the opportunity, John. When we came in, we were closed. Obviously, there was no one here. And when I came into the store at lockdown, I said to John, I will come, but I want to tell you who I want to bring with me. And it was all those little sleeping beauties that I had thinking there's something in them. So that was the opportunity for me to see how amazing these people were, how agile they were, how hardworking and how loyal. And not every one of them thought they were coming in here to work for free. They just turned up.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And for me, that was like, right, this is the team of the future. So I have been relentlessly working with these guys, and they have been giving it back tenfold. So out of that Accelerated Leadership Program, we have almost 15 people in that have now been promoted into leadership roles, and also 50% of our overall team, which is almost 200 staff, have been through a training program, which is called our McElhinneys Academy. And it's all from that initial question from me to John, what do you want? I'm lost. What do you want me to do? Give me it. And he says, I want you to future-proof. So since that day, that is exactly what I've been doing.
That foresight is incredible. But actually for you then to take it and action it, because we all know people have flyaway comments and then they just sit there, they do nothing. But for you to action that, something you said there I've never heard before. We're all used to retailers or stores like you're been kind of called destination stores. People will go to for the day out or whatever. I've never heard it described, but actually it describes it perfectly. McElhinneys is a destination for staff, for your team, for the retention there. It's really become a place to go and work, whether it's in Donegal or from outside Donegal, because you have this real love for your people. It's unreal.
Yeah, we definitely do. And it's interesting, over the last few years, we see people that are willing to relocate or to locate to Donegal simply for jobs. And, it was that vision from John. And then I suppose what we're turning McElhinneys into, and upskilling and cultivating our staff and our environment. And in order to get these people, we need to create a really healthy culture so they love where they work. And we laugh, we whistle while we work. And that is so important for me, for that our team feel, one, that they are getting, they're getting the attention that they need, they're getting nurtured, they're getting listened to, and that they have trust in the process. And, there's sometimes we have to make decisions. We have a business at the end of the day that maybe they don't like, but if they trust the process, then they will come with you. And that is what is happening. The last 2 years of McElhinneys, they're trusting. So they're completely behind us. So we're moving faster because of that. It's not perfect, Melissa. And, we haven't got all of them. We've about 95%. But I would say if before lockdown, about 4 years ago, we probably only would have had about 40 to 50%. So that's a huge achievement for the business overall, to go into our 52nd year and to have a highly engaged team that are so hardworking and so passionate to make this place the best that it can be. That is a huge success and I'm proud because I want, it's for John, we do it all for him. So everything that we do is for him, and to really strengthen what he's put his whole life work into. And obviously our customers, we're so blessed with them, they're so loyal. And as you said, Melissa, they come, you don't come upon McElhinneys. It's not a store you'll walk into if you're trying in your lunch break, or, we're not in the middle of a big mall. You have to make a conscious decision to come to McElhinneys. So as part of our training, we remind our staff about this every day, there has been a conversation to come to McElhinney's somewhere. So we need to ensure from the minute they see that building coming over the bridge, that is 5-star, and that we continue to delight and wow, and we do not let them down. So yeah, it is very special.
It absolutely is. And as I say, you can feel that walking in to the store, that the staff want to be there genuinely, which isn't the norm. And I'm probably going to get told off for saying that right now in retail in Ireland, but it isn't the norm in every store. So it's really lovely to kind of hear that warmth comes all the way from the top. And I suppose leaning into that, then the length of service of the staff, some of the staff in McElhinneys is utterly bonkers. And again, the retention rate is unheard of right now in Irish retail. So I have to ask, while you're here, what's the secret? What are you doing to keep your people so long?
Well, I think, there's obviously the main thing there is John himself and the loyalty to him and to the company. And, so many people in McElhinneys, especially those early days, their mortgages and their children going through college all would have come from, the support that John gave them to give them a job. However, toward later years, it's about, providing. He's a very kind man. We're a very good company to work for. But we then ran the risk, and we talked about this the last day, was over lockdown, some of the long-serving staff was like, 3 days a week would be quite nice, or this balance would be quite nice now. Maybe I'm done with retail. So for me, it was really important to look at them and to talk to them and look at, where they were in their journey, did they need more? So what we actually did do was for example, we had one guy who was 30 years in the business. And when we done his interview to come back into work after lockdown, I was able to pick up, he's tired. He was tired. Now, he had a huge skill set and training, but the opportunity was never there. But obviously now I had this idea in my head about the academy, and we were had started, obviously, we had started the accelerated leadership program. So I was like, let's take this guy on a different journey. So for that, I had to stop thinking about ourselves and, oh my God, he's 30 years in business. We can't lose him out of that position he's in. We'll lose sales. But I had to think of the overall one. We didn't want to lose him. It was up to us to look after him, and also what he could offer our entire team after 30 years experience. So it was continually to look at the big picture, and we did that with all of them. And we do buddy ups, and when new staff start, we have like the more experienced older staff that buddy up with the newer staff, and it's just a really nice, they're almost like take over like in a parental role for them. And we use that analogy a lot because we are a family run business. And we treat we are like fat siblings, and I suppose John's like the father. So when we think of our staff, we think like a parent. What would you do? And we want to support them. We want them to stand up on their own, but we also want to give them all the tools to be the very best version of themselves. And that's what we're continuing to do. So yeah, he was an excellent example, and he's thriving. And there's so many examples of that without long staff. But back to the original question with retention, I think we've made this a very healthy place to work. The older staff have seen lots of peaks and troughs in the business, but it was really important for me now in this stage is to make sure that they trust, and you have to get them, so when someone's here that long, you have to get their trust. And that was something that I was very passionate about. And I think, and the only way you get that, Melissa, is by working hard. You have to work hard.
And I think it's really good. Sorry to interrupt you there.
You're
I'm
okay.
really glad you've said it, because again, retail's hard work. Working, as you've said to me before, working for McElhinneys is not easy, but my goodness, if you trust the process and you do what needs to be done for the better of everyone that works there and the customer, then it is a great place to work. And I think it's okay nowadays to actually admit that it is hard work.
Yeah. And I think anything that you do in life, no matter where you are, you have to work. Because I remember reading a book one time, and it said, even if you're going to wash the dishes in the kitchen, you make sure you wash them better than anybody else. And, that was something I tell my children all the time. And we tell all our new staff members, you make sure you do it better than anybody else. Because that's what, that will allow you to shine. And even if you don't want to and you're just happy to go with the process, well, just that's, you're setting a standard. So yeah, we do. And everybody in McElhinneys does work exceptionally hard. And I think, we talked about this last week. We were saying, how do we get that magic in McElhinneys? And I said, really quickly, when you join McElhinneys, you realize very quickly if you've got it or not. And when I say you've got it, means you mightn't even just maybe think, oh, it's too much. They're too, the cliche, they're too like family. It's full on. And we are full on. But Melissa, that is what it takes. So, people make that decision in those very early days. They realize, gosh, these guys are so passionate, so if they're just coming in to breathe, and the part of that I love is the younger staff coming in that are at school. They stay with us right till they graduate and they get their jobs. They love it. It's the best learning for them. And you're teaching them social skills, emotional skills. You're teaching them. We train them in as much as we can, so you can let them grow their wings and go. But they'll never forget their time in McElhinneys, and they always come back and they come in with their wives or their children, and you do, and you are like a proud mama. You'd be so, again, I'm using that analogy again. You're so proud of what it's like your own children. You set them out into the world with the best that you can.
I love that. And you're gushing. And it's really, again, I can see the proud mammy in you there. You're absolutely gushing with pride about all these incredible people that represent you, represent John, and represent this incredible brand. But moving, I suppose, from people towards maybe marketing and PR, because I can't have you on the podcast and not talk about Sandra's 5 at 5. So those people maybe listening or watching that might not have come across it, might not have heard of it, explain what it is, and I suppose explain this incredible reach and the power that it's had.
Mm-hmm. It kind of came by default over lockdown, those early days, the arrivals of product, and this massive, we're 100,000 square foot. We were in total darkness, and there was only about 3 of us in here, and it was so sad, and I can tell you it was haunting. And the product was arriving, and I was looking at John and my heart was breaking. And that's what I said, those early days, we were like, we'll work for nothing. We will be in here. We will work for nothing. We will do this for you. And that's, as I say, there was a team of people lining up to do it. And myself and Sarah, who is obviously, helped me start the 5 at 5, was like, and Sarah's quite shy. It's not that she's shy. I suppose she'd rather be on the other side of the camera. And she's our stylist and our head buyer, so she's very into fashion, and she's amazing. But she said, "There's no way I'm putting it on." I was like, "Well, I'm not putting it on." And we're like, "We have to get this product out somewhere." So literally, I was like, "Well, I'll do it, but I'm doing one night, and I'm going to answer every comment myself. I want to answer every comment because I need to be I was so paranoid, Melissa, because I thought they would talk about my body shape and bring, and all those things, because I'm not your average model as such. So literally from that first night, I was answering the comments, and it just literally took off. It was like, it was totally meant to be. And it grew and grew, and then I realized I started talking to them like I was talking to you now, and thinking, I'm just talking to one person. And I started, that's how I got over it. I thought, well, I'm talking to one person. And I realized they're sitting at home and they're seeing nothing. And so I started saying to them things like, we are going to be okay. It's going to, the good times are ahead. So I started putting on the clothes and thinking, when this is over, we are going to get out of this. So I was able to really comfortably put my own personality into it, like I would with any of my friends. And I'd be like, no, it's okay. We're going to get out of this, and we're going to be sitting outside having a barbecue, drinking wine, no masks. And inside, I'll be quite honest with you, I didn't believe it. I was so scared. But this beacon of hope came through. So we had fashion and all that on one side, and then this sort of directive coming through that, come on, we're going to get through this together. And it grew and grew and grew. And then we broke Facebook because I was answering all the comments. And overnight, we lost thousands of comments. And the whole thing about the 5 at 5, Melissa, was it was me answering the comments from day one. I was very passionate. It has to be organic. It has to come from me. So I lost all control because Facebook blocked me out, locked me, you know yourself, the joy of that. So we created the 5 of 5 group, Sandra's friend, 5 of 5 friends. And that became just, the numbers just grew. They just jumped and jumped. So because it was my own group, I felt I'm going to start a little bit more of this friendship empowerment, talking about all the taboos, periods, menopause, you know, how to get the right fit and bra, you know, all the things that come with age, and these friendships forged from all over the world. And I can tell you, I nearly know everyone is on it.
Wow.
And there's now almost 17,000. And we have little communities of friends all over the world that is from this group. And the force behind it is incredible. I do not allow any negativity in the group. So I would very quickly, I take that out. I manage it. I still to this day answer all the comments myself. I do a bit of support in the technical stuff. But it is just the most beautiful community of empowerment and fashion and helping women who maybe need that wee bit of support with their skin or all those things. So it's beautiful, beautiful, a beautiful community of people.
That's wonderful. And again, I love the honesty and the authenticity of you still leading that group, you know, almost the educational part, which again, all kind of falls back to traditional retail, that it wasn't just about flogging something or selling something. There was a much bigger, more holistic approach, which is exactly what you seem to have found. And all these 17,000 people with this 5 at 5 group. It's amazing, Sandra. It really is.
Yeah. And it's lovely too. It's great. You know, on the other side of that, of course, you know, it started with the business, and, you know, Melissa, they are coming in their car loads to Balbuffet, staying because they want to come and visit McElhinneys. They're coming from Canada, they're coming from America, they're coming, there's trips being planned from Australia. And we had a gathering of them just in September last year, and we have another gathering coming up. And basically it is really benefiting our business, and we're linking up with hotels that are booking out, and so it is such a good thing. So, but aside of that, for me, it's the kindness and the warmth and the beautiful people that, you know, we're just uplifting each other. So it's like 2 magic things have happened here out of something that was just, maybe it was meant to be. Maybe, absolutely, you know.
It's incredible, that community outreach. And actually, kind of following on from that, then the work that you do for charity, because we have to mention this. I know a lot of retailers will support charities, but you found this incredible way to give back. And I know it's fully supported by the team there at McElhinneys, and it's a cause that's really, really personal to you as well. Tell us a little bit about that, Sandra.
Yeah, you know, obviously that's another part of the group, is that, you know, we have to give back through it, you know, and that's something I'm very passionate about. And I've always been quite passionate about the Simon community. And again, you know, the Ukraine appeal last year, we were massively as a team and, you know, involved in that. But there is you know, obviously the charity close to my heart is Donegal Down syndrome. My own story, obviously I lost my husband and I lost our own child, you know, with a fatal diagnosis at 28 weeks. And that baby had obviously a very rare form of Down syndrome. So all through my life, anything to do with Down syndrome, I could feel myself drawn to it. You know, I quietly just got on and donated and stuff like that. But 2 years ago, or well, 3 years now, coming up in May, you know, it was almost like, again, I just seem to be, luck just seems to be, comes back to me. And my cousin had a little child, and she was born with Down syndrome, Saoirse, and it was almost like, you know, I was given another chance at being with a child who had Down syndrome and supporting them through life. And they asked me to be her godmother because his only sister lives in Australia, and with Saoirse they wanted a network around her so she can again be the best version of herself. So you know, in order for me to understand the challenges that Saoirse's parents had, I met up with Gina, who was the head of Donegal Down syndrome. And from that moment, honestly, I was like, we've got to do something. So obviously with the resources that we have in here, you know, we started talking just simple things. It got little legs and it just started to grow. And well, Saoirse is an ambassador for the store now. So she does a lot of the she's involved in a lot of campaigns and stuff like that, as is Christopher, who is Gina's son, and he works in our bistro on a Saturday. But we went on and we decided on World Down Syndrome Day, which is on the 21st of March, which is on Tuesday. Last year, we decided to get these beautiful campaign called See Me. And it was together the team created them because we want the world to see the child before the syndrome. So that then we got this beautiful, and it went nationwide. It went, the 5 of Fivers were sharing it all over the world. And then we realized, God, let's take this further. So I was like, imagine we could get a book. So I was like, we're going to make a book. So I got my team here and they're like, let's do it. We're going to make a book. We're going to make a book. So you know what? We did make a book. And we made it ourselves, so we had no overheads. We did it all in store. We just had the parents bring the children in, and then once we had the book, we're like, let's try and get this book on the Late Late Show. I'd love Dina to go down with some of the children to talk about the book. So we were manifesting hard. We're great at manifesting here at McElhinneys, as is the 5 of Fivers. And not only did the book get on the Late Late Toy Show, or the Late Late Show got on the Late Late Toy Show.
Amazing.
So there was every child that was in that book. Oliver Donegal that night was just, it was the highlight for me. And we've taken it now. We reached out to many businesses this year for this Tuesday World Down Syndrome to do the same thing. So to take See Me through Ireland. So I think there's about 20 businesses. Most of it is Northwest, but there's some further down the country that are doing the same with their local Down syndrome group. And they are taking See Me onto their windows. So it is just, we're just at the start of it. And again, it's about seeing the child before the syndrome, seeing their joy, the talents. They have the same hopes and dreams. But the beautiful thing about the book is that the full proceeds of the book go to Donegal Down syndrome. Right. So we sell the book here. A lot of a lot of businesses in Donegal sell it as well. So yeah, I'm very, very proud of that. And I'm only starting. I'm going to take this much further.
I can imagine. I'd say we might have you back in future, and goodness knows where this will grow legs to and what will come next. But a wonderful charity support, and obviously just a really great message as well that needs to be heard, that needs to get out there. Absolutely. So goodness me, final question then. What's coming up for you and the business over the next few months?
One thing we always say here at McElhinneys is we want to take retail to places it's never been before. And I fully believe we have the right team here to do it. You can never take your eye off the business point, obviously looking at the business and, you have to pay wages and stuff like that. We're hugely focused on that. But the other side of that is tapping into the creativity of our team and our marketing and taking it to places and taking risks, because that's all the risks we've taken since lockdown have been the good things. So we're just taking a leap of faith, a little bit of self-belief, and just going, really just jumping into real blue sky thinking, and let's do it. Because I think you have to, it is a very much it's a competitive market out there, and you have to work very hard. But the ideas don't just come from yourself. You have to reach some of the best ideas could be the little girl in on a Saturday. So it's about listening to them, taking the ideas from the full team and running with them. And, we're going to take retail to where it's never been before. So there, I'm going to put my name on.
Exciting. What an incredible way to finish the show, Sandra. And you know what? I have no doubt. I've absolutely no doubt that you and the team at McElhinneys there up in Ballybuffet and Donegal are going to do some incredible things. Because just to look at what John started over 50 years ago, and even what you've done over the last few years, it's been outstanding. It really, really has.
Thank you so much, Melissa. And as I said, he is at the heart of everything. So we'll never forget our heritage. It's something that's we wear it like a badge of honor. So whatever we do, we will, as I said at the beginning, we'll never forget where we came from. He'll be in the thick of it, no doubt. And we're very, very excited about the future. And thank you so much for having me on here. I'm delighted.
You're very welcome. Thank you so much for being my guest. So if you've enjoyed today's podcast, please like and share today's episode. If you haven't been to McElhinneys yet, why not pop up to Ballybuffet there in Donegal, or obviously check them out online. Sandra, what's the website address?
So it's www.mcelhinneys.com.
Fantastic. And of course, you're across all of the social media platforms as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you have, as I say, enjoyed today's podcast, please forward it on, like it, share it, give McElhinneys a follow and a visit. And until next time, I'll see you soon. Thanks, Sandra.
Thank you so much, Melissa.